Okay, we're live again. Cross your fingers and hope to die.
No.
That's R.L. Stein's newest rock album.
You're not live. It says a live event will begin in 1 minute and 23 seconds.
Yeah, Dave.
God damn it.
I think it's live because I pushed the button. We're in the green room. Stop telling me things that are wrong. Anyway, yeah, we're back at it again, like a bad habit.
I can hear you now.
Yeah,
Hooray.
I can also hear myself.
That's good. Is that bad?
No, I mean through my headphones I can hear myself.
Oh, Jesus. How am I going to not let you hear that?
It's all right. It's like one of those fun games.
Here, I think I know what the problem is, because we're back on the thing. How's that sound for you?
Let's try. Ah! It's fine.
Radical. Radical, everybody. And by everybody, I mean nobody's. We're in the green room in a brand new show because the last one went down in flames before we made it out of the green room. But that's, again, what the green room is for.
It's brand spanking new. Welcome to the green room.
It's here, look at that, Matt, first in line, and history will show him as the first for everything.
Yep.
He's the first for all.
Regarding this show.
So I'm not putting
A
these
king
two
among
together.
men, it says.
No, we don't need to put
Not doing
the
it.
broken one anywhere. It's broken. That goes in the garbage.
Did you just call me the broken one?
The first one, the first problem child that we had together, you and me, our butt baby.
Yes, one butt baby.
Yeah,
And
we
how
had
did that work
exactly
again?
one. Well, you and I made sweet love. You were the lady, and you carried the baby in your butt, and then you had it. And I had to pay for it because it was through my HMO, and then later, because it took so long, my PPO. I'm still processing those claims, Andy, for your and my butt baby.
David's always talking about his pee-pee. Oh.
I got to get it covered. It's the problem.
This meat is so good. I wish we knew what all was in it.
It's a mystery.
The meat?
It's not meat, but mead. It's her Canadian Connecticut accent.
What?
Well, honey's in the mead.
Yeah, it definitely has honey, but this one was a mystery when it started, and then it stalled, so I threw a bunch of berries into it, and now it's...
Delicious.
Yeah.
Delicious.
It tastes like Welch's grape juice, but it gets you drunk.
We have a meadery not next to us, but in town now. I mean, so it's nice.
There's a few around me, I just haven't gotten
They're
to...
far.
Yeah, that's the thing. They're far away, because there's one in Phoenix and Prescott or whatever. It's an hour plus in each direction, and if you want to go...
Well, yeah, that's the thing about Mesa is it's like, oh, you guys are right next to Phoenix. Like, yeah, if you want to drive.
Yeah, I guess we could take it for granted because it's flat here, and you can just like set your cruise control and just go in a straight line until you hit the place you're going.
At full speed?
At full speed. I just, like a rotisserie Showtime Ron Popeil style grill. I set it and forget it. Like when I go to work, I pop it into like 80 on the cruise control. It's got adaptive cruise control. I'm not worried about hitting people. Take a little nap, pull up the blanket, hope I don't get Elon Musked by a passing semi.
No.
Well, now, we're even farther from Mesa. We're like 30 minutes south of our last house. So
We're 2 hours from the mountain, 3 hours from the beach, and 4 hours from Kokomo. No, none of that's true.
Are you by that permanent, if it still exists, the permanent Ren Fair?
Oh, we're past that.
Yeah,
we're near it, but we're
near
south of it.
Yeah, we're further than that now.
My mother lives closer to that Ren Fair now than...
Yeah, that permanent Red Fair is sad because it's like now literally permanent because like during COVID, it was shut down, and so it's nothing. It's turned into basically a gypsy camp. Like it's just RVs and fifth wheels from all the people who couldn't travel around and do their fire eating and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And like
the Romani. It's the sad Romani.
It's sad, yeah. And like, here's the saddest part: is like when you're living out in the middle of nowhere, and there's like, you're in an RV or whatever. No matter no matter how luxurious the RV, you're in a dirt field with essentially no running water, and you're like crapping in a bucket that you have to haul into town somewhere, unless you're cool with like digging a ditch 40 feet out of, the bounds of the camp.
And then you're going to have to fill that in, and people will try to hide bodies in it because you're all carnies, essentially.
Yeah, and then they'll look at the carnies and be like, what's up with that? And obviously, it's because they're untrustworthy.
They are. I mean, I don't trust anybody that can set up a carnival in a parking lot without anybody noticing.
I think they use the cover of night, right? Because, like, local reference here, but in the parking lot of the Superstition Springs Mall, at night you just be driving home, and, the night before was business as usual, but now there's a bunch of twirling lights and a bunch of, black tar heroin carnies, like, who just burned up the night putting together the tilt-a-whirl and the teacups and the whirly gigs and the Ferris wheel and all that crap.
The meth house.
But that's how America's built. Like, when I was in construction, it was drugs that built America because they work. If you, love to party, but you gotta work, dudes will grab...
Construction for you.
Yeah, dudes will grab, on the lighter side, a Monster Energy or a Full Throttle. On the upside, they're slamming speedballs and shit. It's crazy.
David, do you know the top 4 causes of death in construction?
If this is a joke, I don't. And even if it isn't, I don't.
It's not a joke.
Okay, I don't.
There's the very first one is falling.
Mm-hmm.
Because and it counted all falls. That's like 32% of all construction deaths. It's just people tripping.
Well, yeah, I'm sure I learned all this, but it's been literally over a decade since I took my OSHA 8 and 16 certification, so I don't care. Like, if I fall, I'll be dead. OSHA can't do shit about it. Can't stop
Then
me.
electrocution, then stuff dropped on you, then getting caught in between things.
Yeah, tons of, there are always moving machines and trucks and water vans and shit all over the place. And that's the thing. Everybody on the job site's always wearing, neon shit and big helmets and stuff. And since that's status quo, it's easy to tune it out. No matter how bright your vest, it's going to be just taken for granted. I was always on guard, and, not for nothing, it'd probably save my ass more than once.
Well, yeah, I mean... It's certainly got you to well, no, I was gonna say you could avoid seeing all of the sex going on in your hotel room.
Yeah, I got to see all that. So there's
that.
Mm-hmm. That was way after construction, though. That was like post-build retrofit systems. Those are the sweet gigs. Like, there's always a cushy, quote-unquote cushy job in any shitty job. And when I was an electrician doing like the fresh builds and pulling wire and setting up pipe and shit, that was hard work. Going into a place and pulling a little Cat 5 to hook up to a thermostat, to an HVAC unit, to a control module that has the brain of a NASA computer, like, that was a sweet gig.
Woo!
Like, it was inside, it wasn't hot. It was oh look, Sid's here. I mean Tony's here.
Tony.
I thought you said you would get SIDS on a construction site, and I was like, I don't think those people are infants.
Some guys actually got hit with late-acting SIDS. Dude in his 30s, late 30s, 37. Came back from lunch.
Late onset SIDS?
Late acute onset SIDS. He came back from lunch after he horked down his bologna sandwich, climbed up the ladder, dead. SIDS, they said.
Climbed up the ladder, fell, SIDS.
Yeah.
SIDS.
The doctor came. The ambulance showed up. They said, we pronounced this guy dead. It's SIDS. And they said, don't ask any questions. And they rolled his body up in a carpet. I thought, that's weird. And it wasn't an ambulance. It was like a black car.
and it didn't look like a doctor. And he talked with an Italian accent for some reason.
He was wearing a white coat. Everybody was very, above board. They even had like one of those little crash kits. But it was full of cannolis. Because when he dropped it on the way back, it opened and they all fell out.
Oh no, my cannoli, he said. My medical instruments.
He said, take the cannolis.
My medical cannolis.
My surgical cannolis. my
metacannoli.
Surgical cannoli. Anyway, it's about that time we start the show. So here's how we do it, Andy.
Dog.
Cat.
Cat. Mouse.
Did it say
Turtle.
louse?
I can't see me loving nobody.
we start things. Be quiet.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Welcome to the show. My name is Dave, and this is a Fistful Podcast from FFOP Radio on YouTube. Let me introduce you, as usual, to my first co-host, all the way from the Reno Sparks area. And up first, we have one Mr. Andrew Bergevin.
I'm in for a penny, in for a pound. And
Classic.
I didn't mean like the weight. I meant the pounding.
1 pound, though.
Yeah, you just get 1 pound.
That's a lot of prep work and a lot of nothing at the end.
It only cost you a penny.
It's like a sliver. Like, if this was an Oreo cookie, it's like a micron of the cream filling. 1 pound? And I have to do the first cookie myself.
It's a half stuff Oreo.
Half my ass. If 1 pound is less than half of what I do, it's at least 30%. Kristen is also here acting as producer.
Yes, I am here.
So this is what we got, everybody. It's the old style show. So here's the thing. Andy, as we were gearing up for this, I was going back in my mind and my memories. I thought, whoa, 2009 was when the show started in its podcast form.
That's insane. Isn't
it? And so, by hook or by crook and through several incarnations, here we are again on YouTube. What is that? 47 years later?
Yeah,
it is
a lot of
ancient.
years.
I wonder, has my voice finally gotten any deeper? Does anybody know? Probably not. Every year on my birthday, I think, is this going to be the year my voice finally drops, when puberty finally sets in?
Oh, you have to lose your baby voice first. Put it under your pillow.
I've been wiggling it for what seems like millennia, and it's not falling out. I think it's stuck.
Oh, he does wiggle it a lot.
Yeah.
The voice, not other stuff.
So, Andy, in like the old times dictated, I made some notes here on this newfangled wax tablet and stylus. So here are the things I'm now well versed enough that I could probably talk a lot about. So, car franchise, huh? Home brewing,
yeah. Car franchises and home brewing.
Others.
Cars.
Are you selling Hyundais?
Cars the movie.
No, Cars the franchise.
Yeah, Cars.
Or, if I may, Cars the cinematic universe, because Cars 1, 2, and 3 did a lot for us, but Cars on the Road filled in a lot of the blank spots.
Like that there are children. There are baby cars.
How?
No, there's no baby cars.
In the first episode of Cars on the Road, when they go to the Dino Museum, all those little cars are all laughing like a bunch of children when they go through because they're on a field trip at the Dino Museum.
I think they're midgets.
What?
Munchkins, you see.
The Cars on the Road series, and here's the thing, only lasted one season.
Yeah,
it could
I
have
wish
gone
there was
longer.
more.
I would really like this universe filled out, because my theory is that they are biomechanical entities in which some sort of goopy slug creature runs the car body until the slug creature dies, or the car body is no longer workable, and they die on the side of the road, or their family puts them in a home and they slowly whatever.
Are you telling me that the Daleks succeeded? The Doctor failed, and now the Daleks have evolved into sentient cars.
Do the Daleks have any component of biological material?
They've got slug creatures in them.
Oh my God. I don't watch Doctor Who, so it feels close. Now that you say that, it does feel close. I thought the Daleks were just robots.
I don't know what they are.
No, they got like little octopus boys in them.
Well, octopus boys.
Yeah, like
the
little
octopus boys.
Well, they wear short shorts.
They do. Yep,
eight
they wear
legs?
short shorts. That's why the Doctor hates them. It's like, you look disgusting in those shorts.
Okay, so yeah, but you get at least so there you go. That's some cultural. I don't want to say it's not foreshadowing, but there's cultural precedent here.
Yeah.
Cybermen are the robots. Okay, well, whatever. Cybermen, I watch Doctor Who. I think it's for nerds. It's for nerds.
It's great, and I have some seasons for you when I send you the invitation
To the Pez dispenser.
to my pirate ship.
To my pirate
where all
bay
the
account.
movies live.
Yar.
Pirate Bay.
To my pirate radio. But whatever. That's the thing. Doctor Who is one of those things where it probably is good. Like, right? You don't last for 70 years and 43 doctors if you're shit. But
There's only 13 doctors, and well, I think the one just died, so there's probably 14 now.
right. I guess I don't know. Like a fandom can ruin a thing before that thing gets a chance. And I feel like
True.
Doctor Who, ICP, Family Guy, Rick and Morty, these all have like very divisive and toxic fan bases that sometimes I just don't even want to like get involved with tertiarily.
I think every fan base is toxic. It's just depending on who you meet.
Yeah.
Yeah, former intern Julia says it's up to 16. And that's a baker's dozen plus 3.
Oh, I forgot about the War Doctor.
Okay, here's the thing that I will say about Doctor Who, because it does come up a lot in the other show that I do, Raiders of the Lost Genre, because there are so many Doctor Who's. Like every movie we watch, like you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a Doctor Who. Like in every Sinbad movie, like Tom Baker shows up. There's Doctor Who's all over the goddamn place.
They litter the ground with Doctor Who's in England.
And like, here's the thing: since I haven't watched it, I have to sort of liken it to like what else has lasted that long, like The Simpsons, and how has that fared after 40 years?
Not to be fair, Doctor Who kind of failed back in I think it was the 80s. Like it ran for a while, and then that doctor, no shit, he died because he went to America, stepped out of the TARDIS, and got shot to death by gangs in San Francisco.
What?
And then that was the end of the series for a very long time.
That's insane.
Like I didn't know that until yesterday.
But that was like, you said it was in the 80s?
The show ran from like the 60s to maybe the late 70s or 80s. And then it got picked up back again in the 2000s where they restarted it and they're like, oh, don't worry. He regenerated again from that gang killing.
Right. But that was in a time when you could do crazy shit like that. But I don't know. There's just some... Okay, here's how I'm going to say how I feel about this. When it, like, not necessarily even if the fan bases don't have to be toxic, right? They just have to be hyper annoying. And if a fan base or a clusterfuck or a gaggle of nerds or whatever you want to call a bunch of dorks who get together and talk about this shit, don't ever go very deep, or at least around me. Every time I'm around these people in their fan base, it's always just like a recitation, a parroting of quotes, like we used to do when we were jackass, like junior high kids watching MST3K.
Oh no, I still do that.
Right, but that's not your entire repertoire, right? Like, don't get me wrong, that's totally fine. I like dropping references, but when that's all you've got...
It's true. I confuse my students all day long with esoteric references.
Which is fine, because that's like a decisive tactic. It's not like you're making an effort to get with other nerds of the same variety to be like, nanu or whatever your fucking reference is, right? I want to get together.
I have a kid that sits in a chair backwards all day long, and I say, hey,
is he Coolio?
Are you Commander Riker?
Oh, you're Commander Riker. You should ask him if he's Michelle Pfeiffer, or they are Michelle Pfeiffer. I shouldn't assume gender. But hey, ask him where Coolio's at. Maybe they'll say. Huh?
They knew.
But yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Like, I want to, like, I don't want to hang around people who want to talk about cars in that, like, how fast lightning is, or like the placement of, like Jackson Storm in the race, or like
we get that from our son.
Yeah, I want to go a little. I don't want to like quote and be like, because like Toy Story, I got a snake in my boots, or To Infinity and Beyond, like whatever. You can drop quotes all day, and there's tons in cars. However, I would like to go a little bit deeper, and that's the type of nerd that I want. It just maybe that's it.
You guys are stuck on Cars, huh? The child hasn't watched Bluey.
No, he is not into Bluey. He's not into Miss Rachel.
What?
He's not. He's kind of into Peppa Pig, but he's like, meh. He gets bored real quick.
We visited another friend, and they had Bluey on all the time. And when I got back, I watched all of it by myself. Because it's good.
I mean, that's not
That's just good animation.
Right, that's not utterly surprising because there are like sleepers out there that are good. Like, okay, so here's the thing. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole because it's not like by any stretch of the imagination or by any term or definition you can pull out of your ass that like the Minions movie's a good movie. Asterisk, however, it's not a total pile of dog shit.
I
I
agree.
find that most things are not.
Despicable Me was. I fucking hated that shit. It's terrible. It sucks and it's garbage. However, the Minions somehow has like a sliver more character, a sliver more heart, and like it's got the, maybe this is what I like about it. It's got a body count.
What?
Yeah.
The Minions are killing people?
Yeah.
Is that how they make more Minions?
That's the thing. They like it kind of tickles that part of my brain that loves The Last Unicorn, The Secret Nim, and all those dark old cartoons. Like in Minions, the body count I think is 4. The King of the
They
Yetis.
kill 4 people, and then they phantasm them into tiny yellow men.
No, that would be awesome, but it's not all people.
Oh,
Like
well.
the King of the Yetis gets his skull crushed in by a falling stalactite.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, Deadsville. Basically, if you want to go like non-anthropoid, we can probably bump it up to like 6 because they kill a T-Rex. A doctor commits suicide accidentally because he's like this time-traveling doctor.
Oh,
and
good,
yeah.
yeah.
one from the future kills the first one, and they all have an
all
existential
die.
crisis and run around as they all blink out of existence. Like, so you could probably count 10 bodies there, even though they're just temporal bodies.
And then they killed police officers in the car on the way to VillainCon.
Like, people are constantly getting just fucking wrecked in the Minions movie, and they just sail on by like it's the Secret of Nim. Like, if one of your friends gets picked up by a giant owl and eviscerated, just sprayed with guts and blood, they go, well, time to get back to the field.
Well, yeah. So you're telling me these Minions are killing people all the time? We just don't see it normally in the Despicable Me universe.
No, because you have to be... That the things that God damn, why are we talking about the Minions? The thing about the Minions.
You
is,
did it.
I know, but now you just need to know this. The thing about the Minions, canonically, is from a single cell in origin. They have been encoded to follow and be minions to a bigger evil
the
entity.
most villainous villain.
So we get, paramecia, we get fish, and, all through the evolutionary chain, through dinosaurs up to humans.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And
I like Despicable Me 2 over Despicable Me 1.
listen, they're all trash. All the Despicable Me's are trash. The only good one is Minions, and that's only because it doesn't pretend to be a movie. It knows what it is. It's not a movie.
Yeah.
It's marketing, yes?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. They blew its nuts off with voice actors because the first, the dulcet, buttery voice of Jeffrey Rush is the narrator, and his is the first voice of the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock is the villain.
John Hamm is the dude. Like, it's star-studded, and so even if you hate it, these dazzling and talented people are doing an amazing job with garbage. Like, it's an after-school play.
Okay, David, we're talking about kids' movies, so now we have to talk about the new Ninja Turtles, which I know you haven't seen.
Right. But I'm open
goddamn,
to hear about it.
It is refreshing to have a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie where they're actually goddamn teenagers.
Can I ask you something? Because perusing and picking up some of the action figures, has Baxter Stockman's name been changed to Superfly?
No, Stockman, do you want spoilers?
Listen, what are you going to spoil? It's a 40-year-old comic.
Stockman dies in the first 10 minutes.
Whoa! So Superfly is like what, his progeny or what?
So Stockman was tasked with making mutants for the government, but then he kind of like fell in love with them as his children.
Classic Dr. Moreau.
So Superfly is a fly that he turned into like a big fly.
Well,
Superfly.
what the fuck? So like whatever. I don't care. Like I mean, here's the thing. I do care a little bit because the essence of the Baxter Stockman character was like he was a beat down super scientist making unnecessarily complicated robots that don't look like birds to eat mice.
He's
and
still a
rats.
beat down scientist. Like this thing is man, they set up so many jokes and shit too. Like the movie's very good. There's one part that I know I despised and that you're gonna despise.
Right, but what is it?
It's all the Ninja Turtles doing like a TikTok thing, like they're making a bunch of noise, like being like beep bop beep bop like.
Being
It's
teenagers.
worse than that.
Well,
They're being teenagers, and I was like, I'm gonna reach through this screen and choke Michelangelo to death.
that's okay. I was talking to Krista about this during the Office episode, but like to have characters with annoying traits or whatever is authentic. So yeah, teenagers are fucking annoying. So yeah, you and I as 40 and 70-year-old men would look at that and go like, goddamn hipsters. But here's the thing. If it's well executed, because like, TikTok people have talent, no matter how annoying it is to be them, they must have to practice and gain a skill. So if it's
Yeah.
executed well, I'd be okay with it.
It's a very good movie, and like the other mutants are great. They reference stuff that I like. What is it? Wingbat? No,
Wingnut and Screwloose.
Wingnut. Wingnut's in the movie.
That's the thing.
But Casey Jones isn't.
Mondo Gecko is in the movie.
Right,
Right.
I see Mondo Gecko, I see Leatherhead, I see Bebop Rocksteady, obviously, I see Superfly, so that implies Baxter Stockman, yada yada yada. It just feels like, and you saw the movie, I didn't. It just feels like it may be a little overloaded with characters because, like, maybe you remember the 2005 or 6 release where it was Patrick Stewart trying to get monsters and the turtles and yada yada yada, and having like an Aztec zodiac of monsters felt a little fatiguing.
But the characterization was good in that 2005 one. Like I really like Raph.
Yeah, I mean the characterization's always pretty good. I mean, even in Turtles 3, even though they're like padded to the gills with like soft shit, they still are discernible as different individuals through their personalities.
But basically, this movie is about the turtles longing to be like they want to be normal ass teenagers. But man, some of the animation and editing is just perfect when they actually start going out there and kicking butt.
I don't know, man. It's come up over the past, whatever, let's say 3 years. I've been on 6 shows, mine and others, talking about the live action one. And, everybody's got their sweet spot. I've heard it said that, like, Back to the Future is a perfect screenplay, or this or that are all perfect movies. But, I mean, for my money, the late 80s and early 90s had bangers like this that are technically kids movies that have stood the test of time to adulthood. And not only that, like, you don't necessarily need nostalgia goggles to justify why the 1990 movie is awesome.
Well, and there's a lot to the 1990 movie. One, Raphael says "damn," which, as a child, I was like, "That is insane."
That's a bad word.
And the fact that like Casey and Donnie, like their relationship is so full and rich, and it's just sort of downplayed because like it's Casey and Raph that are like the stars of that conflict.
Yeah,
Well,
it
and-
came out of nowhere with Donnie.
There's a whole scene about basically them connecting with their father and letting him go.
Right, like everything at the farmhouse, and that's part of it too, is like, even as a kid, like I look at my kid and I know exactly where he's going to start wigging when it gets like boring or sad and the attention wanes.
Yeah.
Maybe this is just like a bizarre thing that I did, but I was into the boring parts of stuff because I knew it made the good parts better. Like I would watch PBS's The Great Dinosaur Hunt because it was mostly good, but there's a bunch of dry shit in there that you're just waiting to get through for the next animation or big dinosaur skeleton or whatever.
Don't get me wrong, I appreciate a movie that goes nonstop the whole time. It's got to be good nonstop, but I do appreciate like a shoot 'em up.
But even then, you have to have appropriate lulls, because if you crank it up to 11 and blast it into your face, it's trash. Like, you need to have... I'm not saying necessarily they have to be as, like, morose as, like, invoking of Splinter's soul as he's, like, chained in a warehouse on Long Island somewhere. But... that's just it. Like, even as a kid, I was able to recognize like the gravity of it simply by the art and the action of the characters and the direction. Like, it was a work of art. Like, when Shredder enters, it's like maybe the best villain entrance ever. Can you think of a better one?
Not off the top of my head.
Like, how many villains can you look into your memory and be like, when they were introduced, you were like blown away because they just nailed it in every way? Right?
Not a lot for live action. So there's some animated stuff where I'm like, oh my.
Right, yeah, the animated stuff, because then like they're not.
There's so much more they can do.
Yeah, you're not bound by the constraints of like physical
People.
reality.
Well, there's. I'm just thinking about it here. The casual way that Casey Jones murders Shredder.
Like,
He falls into a dump truck and Casey goes, oops.
and crushes him.
That's it. The end.
Right. And that's just it. It's like it was lightning in a bottle, because it was something that no one expected to work, but it did. And then when they wanted to make another one, the parents were like, make it suckier.
Oh, see, as a child, my favorite was Turtles 2.
Really?
Because, well, nobody likes Turtles 3. Let's be honest about that one.
I didn't see Turtles 3 until I was in my 20s, so I can't even say, like, when nostalgia goes on or off, it's bad.
But Turtles 2 was my favorite because it had Toka and Razar and the guy from Surf Ninjas.
Yeah, Ernie Reyes Jr., who played Raphael in the costume in the first movie. P.S.
Really?
Yeah, mind-blowing, right?
It's kind of mind-blowing.
But yeah, he's an insane martial artist. But yeah, the first one I fucking loved. The second one I thought, like, it was the first time I ever, spoilers, yeah, for a 35-year-old movie or whatever. But yeah, it just felt less than, you know what I mean? I'll liken it to this. I read the Altered Carbon trilogy. It's like Altered Carbon, Broken Angels, and some other stupid shit. And it's just like the Turtles trilogy. The first one is like a 9.8, like teetering over to a 10. Second one's like a solid 8. Like, you wouldn't kick it out of bed even if it had diarrhea, right? But by the third one, it's like a 3.5, and it's got like a hunchback and bad breath, and most of its teeth have fallen out.
I saw a TV edit of the third Turtles that made it better.
How?
You know how at the end when the Englishman falls into the water, he just kind of disappears? They cut away. He goes, and they cut away and you hear a splash. You don't see that awful, awful special effect.
I mean, but that's like picking a stray dog hair off of a pube birthday cake. Like, what are we doing here? Like, instead of seeing him go, whoa, and like having that terrible, like, Hans Gruber falling, like, terrible green screen, it just cuts away.
Well, but it made it better. I'm just saying.
But whatever, barely. Here's the thing two things I like about the third movie. And they'll never be explained. One is when Casey shows up, like, with clean, like a brand new, that's Elias Koteas with that just like shimmering brand new wig and like his new sweatpants. Like, he still dresses like a homeless person, but like it's brand new. There's not a speck of dirt on him. He never even swings his hockey stick. Like, so I love him in that because he's like totally sanitized. He's like the Fisher-Price Casey Jones, and I needed to see that. But on the second part of that, when they use that magic scepter or whatever you want to call it to travel back in time, Michelangelo is the only one courteous enough to put on a pair of giant turtle-sized boxer shorts, thinking ahead of the period samurai that was going to inhabit his position.
Yeah.
Which led you, the viewer, to think, oh, we're going to see 3 Japanese sacks. But when they travel...
As a child, that's what I thought. I said, I'm ready to see Japanese nutsack.
Yeah, I just see Andy there rubbing his hands together, licking his lips, and tossing popcorn back. Going like, where's that Japanese sack? I want to get at that sack.
This is a samurai time to see some sack.
There's never a samurai time to see a dude's balls. But...
Never.
If you've seen the movie, you know exactly what happens. The dude who switches with Michelangelo pops in nude, save for the boxers. But the 3 other dudes come in like their tiny little, like undergarment.
The traditional Japanese undergarment.
Yeah. So like, how does the magic know that if like
It just knows.
so like yeah somewhere somehow there's a hyper intelligence, a cosmic gaseous and or solid entity who is in charge of all this magic, who understands the concept of underwear and was able to delineate properly, so we saw 0 Japanese men's ball sacks and or buttholes.
And then Andy turned
we
the
could've
movie
just-
off and threw it out the
yeah,
window.
and then he snapped the DVD in half
Yeah.
and he says, I want balls.
I said, what the fuck?
I came here for Japanese man sack.
DVD, brother, I had that on VHS.
Oh, well, I that's the thing. Again, I only found it as an adult. So the copy I have behind me now on the shelf down there is the first one I bought.
Oh, sad for you.
Relatively.
You didn't. As a child, I'd watch them in order, and you'd watch one, you'd be like, this is great. You'd watch 2, but you're like, this is better. As a child, anyway. And then you'd watch the 3rd one and be like, I could play with something else.
That's the thing. I'm glad I didn't know the 3rd one existed until I was an adult, because I would have been one of those simpering, whining little bitches who was like, no, the 3rd one ruined my childhood. Because I was glad that I had the 1 and the 2, because it was like the opposite of Terminator, right? T1 and T2 is like an 8 and a 10, whereas T1, Turtles 1 and Turtles 2, T2 is a 10 and an 8.
All I'm saying is, once I get you on this, illegal streaming.
Highly illegal.
David, can I tell you, Adam and I constantly quote sound bites from the damn show.
I mean, you have to. We did it for 10 years. I still have them in a folder, hoping to God one day that I can find someone to play them again.
Like, we'll be sitting around, like, playing
Oh,
a
crap.
game, and it's like, oh, crap.
I shouldn't have said it was illegal. P.S. Fox Mulder is in the typing square. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Hey, Mulder.
he's looking for the Peacock family, if you know what I mean.
I don't.
Andy, you don't? You don't watch the X-Files? They're still
I
on
didn't
Fox.
when it came out.
That's probably one of my favorite episodes.
Is that the one
is-
with the crazy hillbilly family?
Yeah,
the
with the
inbreeding.
mom underneath the
That's one of your
floorboards.
favorites?
Yeah, and like the inbreeding thing.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
My
crazy.
favorite is the one with the stretchy guy who eats people's livers.
The stretchy guy? Okay. I always liked the one with the vestigial twin.
Or there was one where they're
It
like
was the sideshow
people were
one.
being drained of all their liquid, and it's because they were cutting down old trees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Or, oh my God. So this one was like legitimately scary to me. Do you remember the Chupacabra one? Where it was, it wasn't necessarily like goat suck or whatever. Like Fox and Scully, they come out and they go, oh, what's going on here? And like all these goats are covered in this like sickly yellow fungus. And it's just like a massive yeast infection that when it affects humans, it gives them like big old alien heads and shit. But it was so crazy to me because it was, instead of being a supernatural or alien or some other thing, it was just like a really wicked yeast or fungal infection that this dude had, and everything he touched grew fungus, and he was just a typhoid Mary. When they open up that porta-john, and it's like, maybe I'm confusing two memories, but this definitely happens in X-Files. When they open up the porta-john, and it's the dude just encased in yellow, like, spiderweb fungus. Horrifying!
Gross.
It reminds me of in Arachnophobia, where the spider doctor falls down from the ceiling and he's all covered in spider webs.
Oh no!
Fucking horrifying.
And then John Goodman's like, "I'll kill everything."
Yeah, thank God for John
Goodman
Goodman.
or John Candy?
John Goodman.
Okay.
And thank God for him, because I would have had like PTSD if he hadn't have been there to lighten the mood. I saw that movie way too early.
Andy, have you watched The Good Doctor?
I have not.
Don't. It's a bullshit lie.
It's basic.
I'm putting it on my list right now. I have a list of things that I have to pirate.
It's a series.
Here's what it is.
It's House with the doctor has autism.
He's neurodivergent, and he's got that special type of autism that you don't see literally anywhere but TV, where he's got perfect recall and, isn't real.
Oh. See, I work with children with autism. That's not true.
Yeah, that's why I hate this thing. It's like they build, like, Krista made me watch this bullshit. And in
We
the
laughed at an episode.
The first episode, I feel like we've seen more than one. Because, like, the first episode and beyond, like, the first episode is like, hey, an autistic doctor, seriously, guy? And, like, it's the dude from House as another doctor pulling for him and yada, yada, yada. It's like, I vouch for him and yada, yada, yada. So, like, that's the thing. We've all... Probably, if you haven't, then maybe you're the exception. But like in every family or every friend group, there's always somebody who's on the neurodivergent spectrum, and they never are like an encyclopedia of medical knowledge who can also get on really well with other humans, except they just talk a little bit like a robot.
Yeah, no, my mom's cousin is on the spectrum somewhere. He's an amazing guitar player, but besides that, he's not like...
Right.
He's never had a job.
Mick Jagger?
Yeah,
Mick
he's
Jagger
Mick
play
Jagger.
Yeah, not Keith Richards. It was Mick Jagger. But that's the only thing I don't like about it. It's just like I don't like things to be misrepresented. And here's the thing. If he were like a superstar brainiac like House, but whatever, they just go, I don't know. I guess I just don't like things that we all experience. Like, here's what it feels like. It's trying to put icing on something that, like, if you're on the fence about, it'll make you feel good. Like, your son has autism, your nephew, like, it just feels like it's aimed at, like, middle America moms who
Yes.
like accept their friend's autistic son. Like,
Yeah.
I watched The Good Doctor. I know exactly what you're going through. He's probably really good at like jigsaw puzzles or some stupid ignorant shit like that. And that's what I don't like about it. It'll feed stupid people.
It's performative.
Yes.
I mean, my thing about it that I like, I don't care necessarily about the, what his deal is. I just like the story in general of like the different things that happen medically.
The thing about it is it's just the same as every other comfort food we've ever eaten. It's House, it's SVU, it's every other procedural.
I love House just as a...
Right.
Yeah.
It's great. And that's the thing. When you have a dynamic like that with characters, even though it's like pie in the sky and everybody's ultra smart, you sort of buy it because it's putting on ultra competency because that's what you want in a hero of a show. But to have this man come in and be like, he's suffering from a heart attack, like, I need a pen to get my tracheotomy or whatever. And then just like, here's the thing. Maybe it's two parts annoying because he's a super brilliant, socially adept person, but he still is annoying. And the icing on that cake is no one around him is like annoyed. I work in the medical industry, in offices around doctors, nurses, etc. They don't put up with shit, basically.
Right.
So let me talk about this for a second. David, you've changed jobs.
Yes. Same.
You're no longer an insurance adjuster or whatever the fuck.
No,
you're
I'm same thing. I'm doing the same thing. I am working insurance claims for now a different medical facility instead of a pediatric urgent care. Same
Any
thing.
new hog beasts? Because I tell, like, anytime anybody tells me, like, oh, but I should get a payday loan, and I've heard that.
Get 4.
Like, don't, because
there's never a bad time.
I've seen the receipts.
It doesn't go over well. No, everything with this new company is great. Like, I'm back onto a ladder with more than one rung, and nobody falls asleep at their desk or eats 17,000 calories in a 4-hour period and then falls asleep for the next 6.
It's good
You
stuff.
know, like a whale.
Yeah, it's like a regular job again, so it's totally fine. Yeah, and nothing special or new about that, but yeah, nothing.
I think it's special. That's very good for you.
It's whatever. It's okay. I'm still in the. Here's the annoying. Not that this is too inside baseball, but like when you get into a highly technical field that needs a base knowledge of working.
Parts.
Yeah, working parts mechanically, but also ethereally, you get into, because like here's the thing, when I work insurance, I know the rules of how to bill and everything like that, and how to get money from the insurance company, appeal, and yada yada yada. The other part of that is the program or the software or whatever you use that works with that knowledge, and it's impossible to bring the second part with you. I remember everything I ever did, except now I'm in a system that I don't know where literally anything is.
Yeah.
And so it feels like having the brain of an adult in the body and coordination of a baby. So
Isn't that every new job, though?
Yes. I mean, I still feel that now with my job.
It's just like tenfold, because I went from one system, like one computer program that I had to log into that did literally everything I ever needed, to 3.
Yeah.
And they all do crazy shit.
David, I got a degree. I'm a highly specialized person who goes to work every day and goes, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right, and that's wild.
Yeah.
But
Because, man,
that's the part that you learn and that I'm now relearning, because this is my first new job in like almost a decade.
Yeah.
Is like, as long as you have the ethereal, like the rules and regulations and the philosophical aspect of how everything works down, the mechanical stuff you could figure out.
well, yeah, you could, like, your day-to-day becomes easier and easier every day as you fuck around.
Right, and that's the thing. And it's not necessarily you're doing the same things necessarily, because I don't necessarily find that I'm repeating the same processes, because in any system, when you get good at something, the opposing side changes how they do things. It's like the predator-prey relationship. So that's the thing. You'll never, ever learn anything, really. You're just going to be relearning shit, because everything is going to have to change on the fly. This is insane, because I work now at a place that does nothing I used to do. Absolutely nothing. Like, kids are very limited in what they can do to themselves or each other and get sick and whatever. So
You'd be surprised.
I mean, medically, for an urgent care, what we're going to see is going to be boilerplate shit. But the place I'm at now is like huge procedures and experimental shit. There's pictures and there's multiple. Like, if you come to where I work now and you're seen by a doctor, we're gonna bill your insurance company 4 times and fuck you, basically. Because you're going to be seeing 40 people, and there's going to be 12 hands in your ass and 7 in your mouth and 1 in each nostril rather. And then, someone will be...
Each of your noses.
Yeah, each of your noses. And then, like, there'll be a PA massaging your butt crack at the end. And so it's
Thank you, PA.
It's worth the $487,000 we're going to bill your ass.
Literally.
Literally your ass is going to get a bill.
Yep.
We're going to postmark it your ass.
To your ass.
But he'll get to work from home 4 days a week once he's done training, which is kind of cool. I work from home. I've worked from home for the last 4 years now.
And I don't want to screw up the studio with a workstation.
Well,
I'll work in the backyard.
Church.
You work from... Oh, yeah. So you're...
from church.
That's the thing, Annie. For people uninitiated to the old show, Andy and I have been on, various job journeys. I think the funniest time in your history was when you were a janitor.
Yes.
I loved it. It was great.
I thought
I hated it.
No, obviously, but it was so funny, the stuff that like you would
And
experience.
your boss and the
your
other guy.
Your entanglements with
Did
your...
I ever tell you that boss got hit by a truck?
I think so.
Yeah, I
like
think
I
you
have
mentioned
a
that.
small memory of that. Like and
Okay.
was it Gary had to go and like help her or something?
No, Gary eventually fucked off to Arizona. He might be near you right now.
Oh, whoa.
God.
Maybe that's why I call every generic male in my
Gary.
life, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary. Gary.
So you're teaching now, full-blown teacher at a Catholic school.
Oh, never thought that would happen.
I mean, here's the thing. When you're an adult and you look at where you are and you look at where you were, looking at where you are, you go, I did not see this.
Yeah.
So, the school that I student taught at basically hired me on for a while, and then apparently jobs are hard to come by in good schools, so they were like, sorry, the district rules are you have to give good jobs to teachers that have been here a while. Like, but I want a good job.
Okay.
And then my brother called me. He said, hey, I work at this Catholic school. Mm-hmm. It makes $8,000 more than teaching at the district.
Do you like Jesus?
I don't. But interview for this, I feel like I've been like ushered in. Like my sister.
You're an usher?
Yes, I'm an usher at the church. I lead the old
Andy
people
the
down to
altar boy
pews.
teacher. I love it. Do they make you wear short shorts under your long flowing robes?
David, I'm gonna get to that in a second.
What?
Oh no.
No, the whole usher boy thing. But my sister teaches there as well as a middle school teacher. This is kindergarten through 8th grade.
Okay.
I teach a first and second combo, and I've never before been teaching science. And I said, "Why is the sky blue?" And a kid raises their hand, and I say, "Yes. Why do you think the sky is blue?" And they say, "God."
Do you have to accept that as an answer?
I don't.
Good.
I don't know if I have to. Yeah, that was in the training that I didn't receive.
Oh.
David, the training I received was about turning first graders into priests.
Into second graders. Into priests?
We went to the big Catholic high school around here. There was a 2-hour training about talking to all the young kids about becoming priests because nobody wants to be a Catholic priest anymore.
Yeah, they all want to be cowboys and doctors and astronauts and shit. Right? When I was,
have wives.
when
or
I was
husbands or
when
whatever.
I was young, looking, casting my gaze into the future through my crystal ball, I was a circle with 4 lines and a baseball cap, indicating that I was a baseball player.
But I have to go to church every Thursday.
Do you
because
have
they
to
have
go
mass.
with like their class? Your class?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every the whole school goes to church. We walk over to the church. We go into church. I don't know if you've ever been to Catholic mass. They kiss everything.
Yeah.
I hear they take a long time, too.
It takes
They
forever.
kiss the table. They kiss the bowl. They kiss the cup. They kiss the little house that the bowl lives in.
When Jesus isn't everything,
You gotta
what
kiss it all.
don't you kiss?
Just lick the whole church.
Yeah, they say that, God's in the bees and the flowers and the trees. He's in literally everything. You have to kiss it all.
Stop
You're
kissing
serious.
it. No, don't do it.
Listen, the plague is nonsense. Just kiss the fucking bowl.
But I've heard several things from priests at this point where they're like, because of the difficulties in the church at the moment. I'm like, the molestation? Is that the difficulty?
You mean that? Oh.
Is that like that? I don't know. I feel like that's one of those like pop cultural references where it feels like it was super huge 10 years ago and like it all got uncovered. They found most of them and now it's like kept in
It's still
obscure
happening.
pockets. I mean, obviously.
David, we just lost a priest at this church, not for child molestation, but because a lady came and confessed and said, "Hey, I'm cheating on my husband," and the priest said, "Well, now you're cheating on your husband with me."
Or I'll tell on you.
Yeah.
Basically, like that's the thing. It doesn't matter what form the power comes in, right? Whether it's money or God or whatever. Like you have to look at people who want power over others ultra closely, or else you're going to find yourself in this situation because it takes a certain type of person or personality type to desire to have control and influence over people. Like I can't imagine wanting to be a police officer, wanting to exert physical force over another person bodily via things like traffic laws or possessing a little bit of drugs or shit like that.
Oh, talk to my family. They love it.
No, yeah, that's the thing. My racist brother does that for a fucking living, but that's the thing. I don't understand that mentality. Terrible person doing things supposedly for the greater good.
That's your brother.
Whatever, fuck him. It just feels like it's mostly around like, I want to make other people not do things that personally irritate me.
Right.
Did I tell my Halloween story?
You are so late, Allison Marie Armstrong.
Damn,
you have
Allison.
not told your Halloween story.
Last Halloween, and because we're nearing Halloween again,
Getting there.
Halloween passed, and then I'm in here because I'm a teacher organizing beads for a Thanksgiving project. Beads.
Beads.
And I hear something hit my porch window hard.
Hard.
I take cover.
Cool.
Hard.
And I go and I look outside, and there's a fucking pumpkin on my porch.
Was it your pumpkin?
Shattered. A shattered pumpkin. It wasn't my pumpkin.
Oh, at least it wasn't yours. It's a savings of over $5.
Well, of course, he has a good savings.
Oh my god.
And I'm like, what the fuck? So I pick up the pumpkin, I move away, and then I start hearing pipes hitting fence.
What?
you hanging out with
Somebody's
the
hit
Warriors?
fence. There's 3 teenagers outside my house hitting the fence with pipes.
You guys have a big mischief night problem in fucking Reno? What's going
After
on
Halloween?
out there?
Slightly after Halloween. Like
It's the post-Halloween, pre-Thanksgiving Hell Night Stomp Fest.
I'm going to preface this by saying that at that point, a black family had moved in across the lawn from me in this apartment complex.
Were these
And then,
like,
as I go outside and I hear this thing, there's these teenagers shouting, "N-words, go home."
Oh.
like what is? I can't believe that happened still because like
So I finally put to use a gift that was given to me by my mother-in-law.
pepper spray.
A tactical headlamp that
Oh.
shines at a bunch of lumens.
Really? You
And I
scared
chased
them
the
off?
fucking kids as long as I could.
That's hilarious. So like, what are we talking? Blocks, miles, feet?
Feet.
I chased them for 2 blocks.
That's insane. And also hilarious.
With this headlamp blinding them, because at that point, hey kids, you're gonna learn a lesson whether or not I catch you.
That's crazy.
It is fucking crazy. Here's the thing. Like, not to go off on this tangent, but like there's a concept that is like a pretty good one where like you don't necessarily have to buy like, I at this new job, just to bring up a for instance, I work with this lady who's like a hyper scared mousy lady who believes everything she hears. And when she listens to people who don't watch or read the news, but believe every crackpot shit they hear, she feels like she needs to get a gun. And like, we all sort of build our own paranoia. But
Yeah.
think about this. I have a small flashlight. It's about like that big, whatever, 16, 18 inches, that some modifications through this company fits like 3 AAAs, but it's the size of like size and shape of like a commemorative baseball bat from like a Mets game or whatever.
And you called this a small flashlight?
Well, I mean, relatively, it's not like a big
mag light.
like a mag light. It takes 3
yeah.
AA's, and it has like
I love a mag light though. You can beat people with it.
right. But here's the thing about this one: since it's shaped like a bat, made out of like aircraft grade aluminum, and only takes 3 batteries, and is hyper bright, you can hold it, shine them in the face, and since like getting a light blasted into your face is blinding, you'll see them and they won't be able to see you. And then you don't have to like have a gun or a knife or whatever. You've got a bat and a flashlight. So you go conk and then you shine the light at them again, see how the goose egg happened.
David, if you ever want one a reason to not like the police, and 2, a reason to go to the gym. Try to chase 3 kids for 2 blocks.
Well, I mean,
Because after I was done, I called the police. I was like, yeah, there's kids chanting racist stuff and trying to break windows with pumpkins. And I think they were targeting my neighbors across the way.
I chased them 2 blocks away from the crime scene, officer. Go get them.
Well,
I marked on a piece of on the ground with a piece of chalk where I stopped.
I drew an outline of a body where I would have killed him.
one of those kids ate shit onto his face, and I
Nice.
almost got him.
God. But here's the thing, what do you think at the end of that rainbow, right? Like, let's say you get your hand on one or all of the kids, then what? You're gonna like citizens arrest them or whatever?
Yeah, that's what I was. David, I was pissed. I wasn't thinking. I was running.
That's insane. There might have been a time where I would run out of my house at somebody. Those days, if they exist, they're long behind me.
You ain't allowed to be racist at my goddamn house.
If I spent my day chasing after everyone racist in my vicinity, my legs would light a flame due to atmospheric friction alone.
Also, don't throw pumpkins at me.
That too.
Yeah.
No rule.
I mean, our neighborhood is just full of.
It's a motley crew because we
Yeah.
live in like Florence has like 3 prisons in it. So
yay!
it's prison guards and cops and, a bunch of white bread Mormons and stuff.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. There are different flavors of hooligan depending on your locale. We have the the almost hyper specific dirt bike and or quad riding. What's that stuff? Flannel wearing, non-ironic, mullet owning hillbillies.
Not a mullet. No.
Yeah.
I can't believe, if you ever see a mullet, when I see a mullet, I'm like Theo Vaughn. I feel like that's just for a joke. Like he's doing it for the lulz because he's a comedian. When I see the kid up the street in that blonde, just fried top short with the Billy Ray Cyrus, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just the crinkly, wavy, blonde, curly fries hanging out the back, just wafting out from under his little, what do they call those? Dirt bikes. Whatever, the dirt bike helmets.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking crazy. But everybody's rolling around here like a fucking caricature from a Nicolas Cage comedy. Totally unironically.
Yeah. It's not a bad neighborhood to be in because there's so many police officers and stuff. So
I mean,
it's kind
fine,
of safe. Even though we had this teenager completely vandalizing people across the street from us literally last week.
I feel like that was a personal vendetta because
It was
Yeah, that
6 houses.
sounds like a vendetta.
but on only one side of the street though. Here's the thing.
I think she was pouring motor oil on everybody's ring cameras and their cars.
Right. So if you're disgruntled, I mean,
Sounds like she got caught though.
I'm assuming she got caught. She was very bad at hiding her face at the ring camera when
And
she was dumping motor oil.
That's the thing about living in the modern age, right? Every community, every neighborhood has a fucking Facebook group, so every cluster of clucking hens can cluck to their heart's content about what showed up or where's my Amazon package. Or
I'm in
was
some of
anybody
those.
was anybody at the mailbox, or did somebody see my pet tortoise, or has anybody it's like a coffee clutch that's 24/7 and it's just about fucking nonsense and HOA regulations. It's like if you want to grow up to be one of those people who's like a Stepford wife who lives for the company and is all about SOPs and being, hey, I'm here to help and yada yada. They have no, when you feel like when they leave, they just sort of power down in a beanbag chair in the corner of their
Right.
blank studio apartment.
They plug themselves into charge for the next day.
That's the type of shit you get here, except your corporation is your fucking neighborhood and everybody's violating SOPs, but that's the thing, you can't do shit about it except complain about your bitches with babies group or whatever the fucking...
Bitches with babies is nationwide. Thank you very
it
much.
doesn't fucking matter.
Thank
Whatever,
you very much.
you got a
And
clique
it's
of
fun.
weirdos.
I don't post in the group. I just like to read the things that people say.
That's the
I
thing,
I
too.
have a coworker that constantly sends me teacher memes. I'm like, do you do anything else?
Hey, Tony and I are forever sending each other videos on Instagram.
There are some people who can communicate via like pop cultural references and stuff. It's those people who send you something that they nail you as a one note that's annoying.
Yes.
Like I leave work every day at 4, and these people stay far past that doing stuff, and I'm like, that's why I wake up early so I don't have to stay here.
Yeah, I don't.
At church.
Yeah, church and school in one. God damn, that's like a mayonnaise and onion sandwich.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go to a Catholic school when I was in school. We had a few back east like we could have gone to, but I decided that we weren't going to be Catholic. We were going to be Methodist, so we didn't do that.
I decided.
That was my choice when I was
Not
3.
today, Catholic Church.
So take that, and
take your mass and turn it into a mum.
But they used to throw on really cool festivals, the Catholic churches.
Well, yeah, I mean,
no, they throw heckin' parties. It's just that they're all. Last Saturday there was an event. It was Oktoberfest.
Mm-hmm.
My wife and I showed up. There was some free beers for us, and then all the rich people talked about rich people shit, and I left after 30 minutes.
I pounded a couple beers and I
left.
left.
There are some instances where I do that, and I don't. Here's the thing. It's a golden opportunity when that happens, because sometimes with Krista and girlfriends in the past, like sometimes I punch up, right? So like when we go to a work party for Krista, and it's like doctors and expensive people with pedigrees and shit. They don't know I'm a slack-ass motherfucking loser because I'm wearing a suit. But it's nice to slip in and just like talk to these rich people and see what they're like, because sometimes they're real down to earth and it's just like money didn't change them. They just wear shit that you wear, except it's 5 times more expensive.
Right. I'm pretty sure that all these people are from old money. Like they're just talking about like, yeah, we're just gonna go to Disneyland like 3 times this year instead of 4.
That's the thing. I don't know. Like the society's always gonna have these similar pockets of like grossos. It's just, I don't think we've ever had as much access to them. Like somebody somewhere floated the idea of like the Disney adult. And now I'm like completely enamored with it because it seems to be incredibly true.
Yes.
Like,
I mean, I could do that. I love theme parks. Come on.
I'm saying like
somebody pay me enough to go to.
No, that's fucked. Fuck you, Andy, for even thinking that shit. Disneyland is for the kids, and every fucking Disney influencer who brings their fucking massive entourage of adults, so it's 10 adults for every like 3 foot and under, you're ruining it for the kids.
It's only going to be 2 adults.
Fuck it. I don't care. I want more kids in Disneyland because it's made for kids. Right? Like
that's not why Walt built Epcot.
The fuck it isn't. And I'm talking about Disneyland. Disney World was a project that was. We can talk about it later. But moral of the story is Disneyland is a magical place for kids to escape, like, because the fucking world is a scary place for a kid. And I would like to have havens like Toys R Us, thanks Mitt Romney for destroying that, Disneyland and other places like that for the fucking kids. But it's a bunch of sad sack Arrested Development Disney adults going like, yay, the new Mickey, blah, blah, blah. And I want to go like, where? What and why? What are we doing here?
David, what if I'm a child at heart and the world is still scary?
You had your opportunity. Sorry, the world passed you by. Just because you didn't get to go down the slide enough as a kid doesn't mean you get to run back on as a 42-year-old and push the 6-year-old out of the way so you can get a whip
like
down
these
there.
kids have so many cool toys. I want them.
Do it in your home. That's the great thing about Amazon is you can be a fucking arrested developmentally child-minded weirdo in your home like all this shit back here you see. I'm not being like hypocritical. I'm one of these people in one way or another. But when we start co-opting public places that are made to give children wonderment because like, fuck, it's hard being a kid.
It's just gonna. We're not gonna interrupt anybody. I'm gonna buy an Indiana Jones hat. We're gonna go on like a slide.
But your ass is going to take up a spot, and Alex's ass is going to take up a spot that should be for a kid, but it doesn't matter because it's all going to be Disney influencers. Like, don't get me wrong. Since I can't get to Disneyland as often as I would love to because I want to be a Disneyland influencer too, because what if my YouTube video showed that the Mickey Mouse ears this year were $34.95 and $37.95 for the special editions.
Rod says, "Let it out, Dave."
Like, who
Fucking Disney adults.
I'm sorry, but like,
I mean, I'm
One way or
looking
another
forward to
day?
going on the Cars ride when
I
we
am
take
too, but
Elliot.
it'll be for his benefit. I'll
Right.
get the jollies out of it, but I'm not like if we didn't have a kid, I wouldn't go trucking on out to
Let's go to
Disneyland.
Radiator
Let's get that
Springs.
fucking
I'm
Radiator Springs
going.
experience. That's fine. That's fine. I don't care. Like it's just, I think that the problem is it's become hyper.
Yeah, well, no, they're like you said, the Disneyland influencers are weird people.
They are.
Like, hey,
and,
man, they suddenly changed this thing. Let me
Imagine
TikTok.
any other company, right? Imagine the company you work for as a viewer right now. Just
The
because
church.
A church, a Church's Chicken, Popeyes, any other chicken establishment. Here's what we're looking at. Because Disney is it's just a company. They make a product. and
Why simp for a company, quite honestly?
Exactly. Because that's what I'm getting at. Like, I am not going to like strap a GoPro to my ass and like run around my office and show you where like the claim forms are, where all the office supplies hang out, and how much they spent per notepad.
You could do it.
I could, but who gives a fuck? It's like it's like, here's the thing. It's like speed running. Speed running, I get in principle, but in execution seems like a horror because you take something you love and you want to get so good at it that you're better than everybody else and faster. And the way you do
You
that
turn to a job.
is mining. Yeah, exactly. Mining every ounce of joy you had out of it and making it a necessity.
Right.
People aren't going to Disneyland. Like there's one, I think it's called Baked Fresh. There's a bunch of these Disneyland influencers, but even in some of their videos, they are so famous that like people will like in their videos wearing the ears and the shit, they'll go Baked Fresh or this influencer, that influencer. And you know, like
There's a
not
couple, or a family, I should say, that I follow on Instagram who are like, that's what they do when their kids are involved, and like they do their reels of
that
like
feels so gross.
all the costumes that they take with them in their suitcases for like each day. They dress up as like the husband and wives of the different
right.
things. I'm like, if you don't go on rides in those dresses, like
It's
be real.
the same. I don't know. I can get enthusiasm, but when we overlook the core of why these things exist simply because we have to show somebody something, like
What, David, did you say the show had been on our show? This show, I still claim it as mine. Had been on since 2009.
yeah.
Holy shit! Wait, hold on.
I think it was 2010 because I met you in 2011 and I had just met you the day after your 1 year anniversary.
With Dr.
Maybe-
Girlfriend.
Maybe from the reboot, because I had like 4 girlfriends during the show.
David has had 4 girlfriends.
I've had upwards of 12 girlfriends in my entire life. So not to brag,
no, the number's inflating.
4 of them were during the show.
Oh, I met you November 2011, and that's when you were like, because I met you, or we started talking, and you were, I want to say you were drinking because you had just finished the live of your anniversary of the show.
Then it might
1
have
year
been
anniversary.
the 2 year because
Oh.
it was
Possibly.
depending on when
I don't know.
Like here's the thing, it was like late 2009. I think it was like November.
Oh, yeah. So then I met you November 2011.
Yeah. So whatever. Moral of the story is,
Yeah.
it's been
Here
a
we
while.
are.
Yeah, here we are.
One way or the other. I'm glad I can still rile up David.
I'm a regular Lauren Armstrong. How dare you?
One way or the other, David. My house is becoming too hot, and I have to piss.
That's the only problems we ever have with you, Andy, is your excessive body temperature and your weak bladder.
I have, my David. I have a teacher bladder now. I can hold it for forever.
Except when we're talking, then it's hour 13. But hey, if you ever want to take a car ride for an hour, you're probably good.
No, I don't drink liquid during car rides.
That's smart.
How do you stay hydrated? And plus, you got to drink
I become a
before.
desiccated mummy that gets brought back to life.
What do you take, like surgery precautions where you're like, oh, I got to get in the car in 12 hours, no more food or liquid?
Yeah, exactly.
Like if they have to cut you open, you don't poop yourself.
No pooping, no peeing.
Hey,
Anybody that has to pee, they get thrown out of the car.
as a surgeon, I can appreciate that because, like, here's the thing.
That's a surgeon.
As a surgeon, as a humble surgeon, as the good doctor like I am, you see, like as an idiot, you get those the guidelines. They say don't eat or drink because we're gonna be in your ass or whatever. We're gonna be cutting you open, and you go, why not? And obviously, like, hello, any amount of critical thinking would tell you why you don't want that, right? But no,
We don't want piss and poop in your cavity.
But fucking whiny McShitass over here goes, I haven't eaten since yesterday at 6:30 p.m. and it's 7 a.m. Like, here's the thing.
That's pretty much what I do every day.
Right. And here's the thing. P.S. And when they put you under, you don't want to asphyxiate on your cornflakes and they don't want to have to squeegee shit off your ass. Do you think you can handle 8 hours not eating shit, bitch? You think you can handle that?
Bitch.
We'll keep the shit off your ass.
Start intermittent fasting, ho.
Yeah, do like me. 8-16. 16 hours where you don't do shit.
Are you on that now?
Yeah, and my schedule is wide open. I don't have to stop and be like, oh no, where am I going to get a corn dog at this time of night or whatever. I know exactly the time period and when I can eat. It fits perfectly.
He can get a colonoscopy all times of the day.
I get colonoscopy.
Alex and I accidentally figured out that we were intermittent fasting without meaning it.
It just happens.
It happens because you become busy, and here's the thing: you don't need to stuff yourself full of 17,000 calories if your body's not hungry.
I have to though.
I mean, you can say that, like, but your brain is smarter than your body, but your body has to tell your brain when it's hungry. It doesn't work the other way. That's how you get fat people.
Sure.
Anyway, that's it, guys. It has been a wild Thursday night retro experience. So, that's it. Tomorrow, we're probably going to be starting the James Hansey interrogation, Buckeye Lake, Ohio.
So, David, this is a high recommendation for you as I fall asleep to your podcast.
Really? I actually super enjoy that because it's just like...
But I've been getting into true crime for the past couple years because of last podcast on the left, and you do a similar sort of thing. So
that's the thing. I never saw myself as being like a true crime buff, but like it's been in my blood forever. I was buying books about Jack the Ripper before YouTube. I just didn't. There was no community. I was just the guy who was like, hey, do you like murder? And everybody go, huh.
Hey.
Do you like murder?
If you call it true crime, you still get like a, huh, but like a less of a.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Like, no, there's all these old teachers who are also Catholic. They're like, oh, all I have left now is heaven. And also, have you heard about serial killers?
Murderers are the saving grace of my life.
There's literally an old woman that works with me that her husband is dead. Everybody that she knows that is related to her is dead. And she's basically saying, all I have left is to get into the Valley of God. Also, Dahmer.
Have you heard of Taylor Shabiznes?
It's crazy. So at my new job, one of the people I work with looks exactly like Del Harvey from Perverted Justice and TCAP, who is like super into true crime. And I was like, hey, I dropped a Susan Monica shitting the chair reference, like nice and sly. And she was like, aha. And I'm like, aha.
And now they're best friends.
If you know that Susan Monica shat the chair, we can probably hang. All right, guys, that's it from us. So we'll see you in a day. And then remember, Sunday we're doing stuff with baked salmon as well. So, Andy, thanks for coming on the show. It's been a while. I'm hoping to get you back on soon.
It's been a while.
I'll play Stain next time.
Yes.
All right, everybody. Thanks for showing up. Say goodbye, Krista. We're out of here.
Goodbye, Krista.
Goodbye, Krista.
Bye.
For the try to
Fistful of Podcasts Radio.